How understanding Dunbar's number can help you build stronger relations and organizations. Dunbar's number is a suggested cognitive limit to the number of people with whom one can maintain stable relationships, meaning knowing who each person is and how each person relates to every other person in the group. This number was first proposed in the 1990s by British anthropologist Robin Dunbar, who found a correlation between primate brain size and average social group size. Dunbar's argument is that brains evolve and get bigger in order to handle the complexities of larger social groups. If you belong to a group of 5 people, you have to keep track of 10 separate relationships. Your relationship with the 4 others and the 6 other two-way relationships between the others in the group. Then and only then, you know everyone in the group. You have to understand the personal dynamics of the group, juggle various personalities, keep people happy, and manage the demands on your own time and attention, and so on. When belonging to a group of 20 people, there are 190 two-way relationships to keep track of. Thus, even a relatively small increase in group size creates a significant additional social and intellectual cost. By using the average size of the neocortex relative to the size of the brain, Dunbar developed an equation which works for most primates, that outputs the expected maximum group size of the animal. For us, Homo sapiens, the group estimate is 147.8, so roughly 150. In other words, he proposed that humans can comfortably maintain 150 stable and genuine social relationships. One might consider this our cognitive social channel capacity. In today's terms, this is basically the number of people who you wouldn't feel embarrassed about joining uninvited for a drink if you happen to meet them in a bar setting. I'll share a few examples. Dunbar finds empirical backing for his claim on efficient group size in anthropological literature, in, for instance, 21 different hunter-gatherer societies, which there is solid historical evidence for. This is such as Walbury of Australia, Tuatha of New Guinea, and Aymasalik of Greenland, Ona of Tierra del Fuego, Argentina, and Chile. The same pattern actually holds true for military organizations as well, as it tends to be a rule of thumb that functional fighting units should not exceed 200 men. Dunbar argues that with a larger size, you would have to impose complicated hierarchies, rules and regulations, as well as formal measures in order to command loyalty and cohesion. However, at or above 150, it's possible to achieve these goals informally, as orders can be implemented and unruly behavior controlled on the basis of personal loyalties and direct person-to-person contacts. The Hutterites, who sprung out of the same tradition as the Amish and the Mennonites, have a strict policy that every time a colony approaches around 150, they split into 2 and start a new colony, as it seems to be the best and most efficient way to manage a group of people, according to one of their leaders, Bill Gross. When the group gets too big, around 150, organically there's an internal breakout into 2 or 3 other groups within the larger group. This is something that you would like to avoid by splitting the group into 2 before that happens. Gore Associates, who makes, for instance, Gore-Tex fabric, which is familiar to most, and special insulating coatings for computer cables, they came to the same conclusion on their own. They would have maximum 150 employees per plant. This meant that no plant would be larger than 50,000 square feet, or roughly 4,700 square meters, with 150 parking spaces. Typically, when people started to park on the grass, it was time to split up and build another plant. It turns out that peer pressure is much more powerful of a concept than a boss, as people want to live up to what is expected of them. Thus, above the point of 150 people, structural impediments begin to emerge, and the group is no longer able to agree and act with one voice. Keep in mind that Dunbar's number is not a hard limit. It is possible for humans to maintain relationships with more than 150 people, but it becomes increasingly difficult as the number of relationships increases. Dunbar's number is not the same for everyone. It may be higher or lower for different personalities, cultures, levels of social interaction. Dunbar's number is not a static thing. It may change over time depending on factors such as age, lifestyle, and technology. So in summary, Dunbar's number is a useful concept for understanding the limits of human social cognition. It can help us understand why we have difficulty maintaining large social networks and why we are more likely to form close relationships with a small number of people. It's a useful mental model to have at your disposal, and the concept has been successfully and widely been applied to better manage people by splitting them into smaller, more autonomous groups, which gives the benefit of close relationships and ties with the additional benefit of scale across all such groups. For more information on Dunbar's number, check out the book The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell.
If you appreciated that, then click here for more content like this. And don't forget to subscribe. Be well.